So how cold did it get in Asheville, North Carolina?
10 degrees.
10 degrees?
In March.
Wow. Snow?
Yes, 3 inches.
Man.
We're in our second pretend spring. There's like 12 seasons there.
Okay.
So.
Well, we got down to 28, and I lost my squash. And my corn got burned back pretty good, but we'll make do. Knew I was taking a gamble on squash.
Yeah.
I planted it in February, and I said, you know what? Yeah, may or may not, and I may not at it. Yeah.
I do that. But like I was just telling you, right, it's seeds.
Yeah.
So what?
Yep.
Start over.
Start over. Welcome everyone to the Row by Row Garden Show, the best dead gum gardening show on the radio and the internet as well. We got Miss Tracy in the house from Sakata. Always love to have you.
Always
here.
fun.
Yeah. She is a wealth of knowledge for the seed industry. Been in it for a long time.
25 years.
25 years, and you've been with all the big players out there.
Yeah, home garden.
Home garden.
Yeah.
And now you're with Sakata Product Development.
Yep, going on 12
And
years.
we love Sakata.
Me too.
We love Sakata Seeds. If you notice on our website, a lot of our seeds are Sakata seeds, and there's a reason behind that. They do such a wonderful job with the breeding program, but not only that, they give us good information. That's one of the problems we find with some of our wholesale seed dealers is we don't get good pictures, we don't get feedback. They just give us a little bitty blurb to describe it. We need more than that.
Well, and that's what, I used to be you, right? I was
Yeah.
in your position of having to sell the stuff from all these different breeders
Right.
all over the world. And the truth is, most people are breeding for big commercial
Right.
farms. And so it's important that there's divisions like we have at Sakata that can really focus on what's good for the home gardener.
Yep.
And give you that
Great
extra.
partnership with you guys,
Yeah.
and we really appreciate it. It helps us to help you be more successful growing your own food. Because what it does is it does bring those varieties that are successfully grown
Yeah.
into the home market.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yep. All right, so what have you got going on in the garden? Anything? That's
Well,
it?
after the 10 degrees and snow, I realized I'm kind of behind the 8 ball. So I'm making my order today while I'm here, and I'm
Good
taking
deal.
your seeds home.
Good deal.
And I'm starting. And when you told me what you're going to talk about today, I was pretty excited because it's container gardening. And that's one of my favorites. Before I moved back down here, I was in Philadelphia for about 15 years. So we had little, postage stamps. And all I did was container gardening. So I'm going to do some of that this year and to sort of ease my way back into it. So container gardening and raised beds is what I'm going to concentrate
There is no excuse why anybody should be able to do some sort of gardening, whether it be raised bed or container gardening.
Yeah.
So that's what the focus today is on container gardening, because there's so much new things out there and new information out there. And not only that, but these plants have been specifically developed for container gardening.
There are. And when you take that, though, with really looking at a plant's natural habit, there's so many options. So you don't have to limit yourself to things just grown, bred for containers.
Right.
But we are focusing more on that type of thing these days.
Now, some things are not conducive for container
That's
gardening.
true.
And we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
But we want to focus on people being successful on that. And we're also going to touch on raised bed gardens a little bit too, because you know what? I classify that as a little bit different. Raised bed
It is.
gardening
It's
versus
container, but I mean, extra large container. Yeah.
Some things work with raised beds that don't work with container in my scope of things.
Well, between those two things, though, really, I mean, you've got like 90% of what you might want to grow. You can do in one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's dig right in.
Okay.
My first thing I want to talk about, tomatoes is the most popular crop grown. I was going to say vegetable, but we know it's not a vegetable. It's the most popular crop grown for the home gardener.
Yeah, by far.
And Sakata has developed this line here that I am impressed with. I keep harping over it because I think everybody should experience the Little Birdy series of tomatoes.
I named those.
Did you?
I did.
You did a good job.
Red Robin.
Yep.
Red. Rosy Finch. Rose-colored pink. And Yellow Canary.
Yep.
Yellow. All cherries. Really unusual. I mean, there are a few out there like this on the market. Not all 3 colors like that. Super, super compact plants. Really, really early. Like 3 weeks earlier than a normal tomato.
Yep. So let's talk about Rosy Finch first. And you know what? Let me get everything down here. We can get this. I don't know why, because I love the Red Robin. But I grow more of this one than I do any of them.
Is it the flavor?
I guess. In your opinion, does this one outperform on the flavor?
Well, to me, these rose pink colored tomatoes in general tend to have a different flavor profile. So it's probably one that you like, and I do like them as well. So
I just found out, and I really didn't do it
the color is
consciously.
gorgeous.
They are. I didn't do it consciously, but I just found myself growing this one more here. Okay, we got Rosy Finch. We got Yellow Canary. Now, we're on this one as well. Love this one right here. And it has that bright yellow fruit to it.
It's not like a dull orange gold. It's like
Yep.
Canary
And then
yellow.
the last one of the three is going to be Red Robin.
Red Robin.
Which is that bright red color here. This is one I'm really going to go out on a limb this year. I got a bunch of these already planted.
Oh, yeah?
Now, would you classify this as a semi-dwarf or just as a dwarf, or how would you classify this?
It's actually like a super compact dwarf.
Yeah,
It's like,
if people that's never seen this is something you've never seen before, is the way these plants grow.
you really need to know what to expect, because if you plant them and don't know what to expect, you might think like, okay, where is it? What else is it? Did it stop? What's it going to do?
Right.
Because honestly, they get about this tall at full maturity. Like, that's it. So 8 to 12 inches, it's not going to go above that.
Right,
And
and
that's
they
it. But it's loaded.
Loaded with
Yeah.
fruit. Another thing, too, we talking about 45 days to maturity, right?
So more towards 50.
Okay, well, I was talking about 45, and then we talking about from the time the plant goes into the pot.
Yeah. Which, like, that's a good solid 3 weeks before you're going to get any other tomato.
Right.
But they keep going.
Yep.
Now, the fun thing about them, too, is with that, or this is what I like to do, with the plant size so small, I like to, whatever I'm planting them in, plant one of each, all three together, and then you got this nice little rainbow. And we're going to talk about a few other things, too, that you can do that with.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it's very ornamental.
The weird thing about this plant to me, and you can expand on this, but the stalk on it that's toward the bottom of the plant will put out roots.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, you want to plant this thing deep.
Deep, yeah.
But this is one of them weird kind of plants that you can add soil to it after it comes up and starts growing, and it'll encompass that, and it'll root out into it, which I normally would recommend with a regular tomato plant.
Yeah.
But this one, you can actually do it kind of like a potato. You can add soil.
You're right, yeah, that's
and those
true.
roots will actually just
Keep
shoot out
going.
there.
And it's really, it's interesting because that plant is so tiny, and like I said, if you're not used to it, you're like, what is that? But it is so aggressive and healthy that's what you see from them.
Right. Now, I've got something right here that I kind of wanted to show everybody. This is our 3-gallon
Oh, that's cute.
root pouch. Now, this is a fabric here, which, I tell you, in case you didn't know this is some research I've done on this. I've done some research, my own research on these fabrics, and I'll get your thoughts on that. When these things first come out, I discounted them. I said, nobody wants that. But after I grew out a few times, and I realized that the air or the carbon dioxide on being able to breathe makes a huge difference in these fabric pots.
The mold and the mildew that you don't get in these. I have a few of these, especially when I was in the city. These were great. Because there's some you can hang on the, you could hang this really. You could hang on the wall.
And you don't have to worry about getting waterlogged because it will drain out the sides. So these things actually produce a healthy plant. Now what we got here is the 3-gallon, which I think is a perfect size for some of these little birdie series.
Now, if it were me, I'd put one of each in there. I'd shove 3 in there.
You'd shove 3 in this one?
But I like things full.
Right.
So.
But you can grow these in real small containers.
Yeah. I mean, you could keep one in like a little 6-inch pot.
Let's look at this right here. So we got the gallon in here.
Now, that would be perfect for one.
Yep. So
Yep.
right there, let's see if we get around where everybody can see this right here. This is the 1 gallon. And that would be perfect for one of them.
That would be really cute.
And if you're doing 3, the rainbow, as you say, go with the 3-gallon here. And while we're touching on the subject here, y'all see that pot medium there? That's got a little bit bigger clumps there of pine bark in there. And that is okay for a potting soil. Now, you don't want that in a seed starting mix because you want a very fine seed starting mix. But it's okay if you get a little of those bigger clumps in a potting soil. See that? See that?
Well, again, it helps with that aeration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good potting soil. All right, so that would make a wonderful pot. Now, I'm going to tell you something else I love to do. I know this is, you're going to find this kind of strange.
I don't know. I got a stranger for you after yours.
I grow a lot of these little birdies. I mean, I've got a 162 just about full out right now, and I'm going to do another planting on them. What I do is I take these root pouches and I pot those little birdies up, and every time I get a visitor over, I love to give them one of those.
Oh, that's
they
cute.
make wonderful gifts.
Good gifts. Yep.
Especially if I've got somebody that's never gardened before much and they want to, I know they can be successful growing these right
that's
here.
true. That's a great idea.
Yeah. They make just absolute wonderful gifts.
That's cute.
All right, let's get this back up here.
So before I knew about those, another cute way that I've done the little birdies again in the rainbow is they're really cute in hanging baskets. And there aren't a lot of vegetables that are really good for hanging baskets.
Right.
But they're perfect for it.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move into peppers. Are you ready to get into peppers?
Yeah.
All right. How about Miss Lola?
Lola, if I had to choose one pepper that was my favorite, if I could only grow one, that's it.
Lola banana pepper.
Lola banana pepper. I grow this in a, let's talk about this. We talked about this a little bit. I tend to see when people start out with container growing, like, oh, I'm just going to go to the big box, and they have like 14 to 16 inch pots, 14 to 16 inch round pots, right? This tall, this big around. Well, that's great for a lot of things, and particularly for peppers. But if you take a little bit of time and get creative and think about the plant habit and think about how it's going to mature and what you're going to pick and stuff, there's such a plethora of containers out there that'll work, that it really pays to sort of match the container to the type of plant, and you're going to be much more successful. So we can talk about that as we go through these.
Right.
But peppers and Lola, that 16 to 18 inch is going to be your ideal.
Okay.
And
would you recommend the 3 gallon for this right here? Or do you want something bigger?
Bigger.
Bigger than this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, you can do it, and that's the other thing. Like, you can do peppers in small things like that, but if you just really want to get the yield, just go up a little bit in size.
Because you got to keep this going all summer long.
It will keep going until frost.
Yeah. Great.
So.
All right.
Arapaho, another one.
Arapaho.
All of these peppers.
Try not to say that.
What's that?
Arapaho. I was going to let you do that.
Yeah, I named that one too. Sorry. Yeah. All these peppers, what I love about them, because some are hot and some are sweet, is just how beautiful they are. So again, for container garden, it's usually going to be like on your back porch or your front porch. It's ornamental. So these both, they start out like, this is like a yellowish color, then it goes to orange, and then it goes to red. You can harvest it at any of those colors, eat it at any of those colors, and they're all going to eventually be on the plant at the same time.
Wow.
It's just beautiful.
Arapaho.
This one is very early. It's a cayenne type.
But what does Arapaho mean? Where did you get that name from?
Oh, it's a Native American name.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for cayennes, I used to string them. Like you used to string the little ones, you know? I used to string them when my grandma with a little tiny bit. But we also string the cayennes or put them in vinegar. Is a really good thing, too. Yep. But these are super good for pots. Again, this one is a little bit smaller plant than Lola. So you could put one of these into the bag.
Okay.
Or you could go up to like a 16 inch.
That's good information. So just to give everybody a little bit more, when she tells you something, you need to be writing this down. She has a horticulture degree from Clemson and is I take all of her, when she tells me something other, I never question it. I say, that's the way it's going to be.
Can I take you home?
All right, here we go. Now, I know you love this one right here.
Yes.
Ruby
so,
Delite.
Delite, we have a whole Delite series that's new. So, Ruby, they're called lunchbox peppers. And this is one of those items that we bred because it's what the grocery stores wanted. But then if you go to the grocery stores, you buy these bags, and they're the little sweet lunchbox peppers. Snacking peppers in all 3 colors, red, yellow, and orange. And they cost a fortune.
Yep.
So, but they're really sweet, really easy to eat, really good for kids.
A compact plant.
Very compact plant.
So this would work well in the 3 gallon plant.
Yes. You could do one in one of those.
Yep.
Or you could do my little loving to do a rainbow, one of each. And again, like a 16 to 18 inch pot would be good for all 3.
And the ruby is for the color of this plant. This pepper.
For pepper, yeah. The ruby is because that one is red.
Okay, and that leads us to
The lemon.
lemon.
Which is a more lemony color. It's not like the dark.
Same series of peppers.
Same series. So the key is that we're making sure that they're all a similar plant habit and they all mature at a similar time and that the fruits are all similar so that you can grow them all together if you want.
Which leads us to
Orange, yeah.
Orange Delite, same thing,
Yep.
just the orange color. And that gives us our rainbow.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm noticing a theme here because we have the next one's rainbow too, but these are good.
So these are hybrids here. So they do offer some disease resistance there.
Yeah, and they're going to yield better. So a lot of sweet peppers, you don't really get a lot of peppers. So
Right.
if you grow some of those really old sweet peppers, you're going to get a plant and you're going to grow it all summer and you're like, great, I got 2 peppers.
Yep.
So the hybrid really helps with that.
Cinder jalapeno.
Cinder jalapeno. So do you like jalapenos?
I do like jalapeno. It's not my favorite, but I do like jalapeno. We always grow jalapenos.
Yeah. So this one is a little bit, the trend now is for all these, which we have some, these big jumbo ones for poppers and stuff. This is not that. This is just more of your small, like if I need a jalapeno pepper to use in cooking, then this is the perfect size because you're not going to pick one and waste half of it. And the heat level, we test the Scoville units, right? The heat level of all of them. And this one is also, it falls sort of right in the middle of, it's not the mildest and it's not the hottest. So it's like your good all-purpose, all-around general good pepper.
Good deal. All right, here we go. Orangey.
All right, my rainbow's
Back
again.
to the rainbow here.
Yeah.
Another compact plant.
Another very compact plant. Another one that's perfect, 1 plant in your bag or 3 in a slightly larger container. These are Hungarian stuffing peppers. So these are perfect for appetizers on the grill. You cut the little top out.
Core it out.
Stuff it with whatever you want to. I mean, you don't have to stuff it. You can eat it regular too. But that's just like the coolest, cutest way to use them.
And which...
Right on red.
Right on red.
Yep. So again, they're all hybrids. So they're bred to be similar plant habit, similar maturity, and similar fruit size and yield. So that if you want to grow them together.
I grew all 3 of these last year. In fact, I think I got some planted this year.
How did you prepare them?
Same way. We love roasting them on the grill. That's
on the grill
one of my favorite ways to eat peppers.
Yep. Super cute.
Yep. Yes to yellow.
Yes, the yellow.
Same thing. There you can have your yellow.
Yeah.
I'm not into really presentational cooking, but if you were doing some kind of fancy catering or anything, man.
And that's what these really took off.
Yeah.
Because you're doing this with us now. We'll share recipes and stuff. And this is one of the first ones we developed for sort of that market.
All right. So, Tracy, we have covered the peppers there.
Yes.
And you know what? This is not a pepper, but I want you to try this right here.
Uh-oh.
This is something that is very unusual. We're just going to take a little break. Is that okay?
Okay.
This is tomatillos. Do you know tomatillos?
Yeah, I guess.
This is roasted tomatillos.
What is that in? Is that water,
It's
oil?
in its own juice.
Oh.
But I want you to taste these because this is pretty much, I'll let you get you one out. This is pretty much, you're going to be really surprised.
I've never seen this. Did you make these?
I did not. A friend gave those to me.
All right, is this weird? I'm on camera. I always smell things
Well,
new.
you got to hold it just a minute before you partake. Okay. In the spirit of peppers, we thought we would doctor it with a little hot sauce.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You're going to do this to me.
So, this is what I thought we would do. We got 2 different ones here. We got Mr.
Okay, you did not warn me about this.
Queen.
I'm going to tell you this right now. You did not warn me.
We got Queen Majesty there. And then we have another one there. I'm going to let you pick your poison.
I am the last person you should be doing this with.
This is 71,000 Scovilles right here. And this one right here is Jekyll and Hyde. It's 109,000.
All right, well, I'm picking the
You picking that
less one.
Okay. Just a dab.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this says cocoa.
Yeah.
So we got chocolate in it? Oh, it's got pineapple juice in it.
Yeah.
Plums. Yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah, and it's a little, it pours real easy, so be careful there.
Oh, man. Normally, I would say no.
You know, I'm not a hot person.
No, I'm not either.
But I've gotten where I partake in it pretty well.
Well, this has got a lot of ingredients that are not just peppers, so maybe we're going to do it at the same time. They can see our
Oh,
face.
yeah. It's not going to be bad. We're gonna
So they're roasted
they're
tomatillos.
roasted tomatillos. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is on my to-do list for this coming year. Is that not delicious?
Oh, it's neat. I like the texture. Oh, boy.
Yeah. That is awesome. I've never eaten anything quite like that before.
I've never had one of those before, like prepared like that.
That's
Of course, I just see them in our trials in the big giant
right.
plant.
And
And the thing is, one big giant plant is that super Birdy, I hope.
what not would be a tasting without doing a little plug for the
There we go.
tomatillo.
But one plant of that, I swear, will give you so many. You could do
Yeah.
a dozen jars of
Now,
these.
I've never grown these much.
Yeah.
So, do you have much experience with them?
It's a really, really long season. I
It's a
don't
long-
have a whole bunch of experience, but it's a really long season. So
But
you could do it here.
It is in the nightshade family.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did that one. So we got to step it up one notch because you got to admit that wasn't bad.
I mean, that was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
So we're going to the joke on the hide.
Oh, you're going to make me try that one too?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
See if I can get just a. This is a lot thicker, so this
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Just do your drop on there if I can give you some advice. Yeah.
If I fall over
Oh, you're going.
and I go down there.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
Anybody that knows me and sees this is not going to believe this.
Oh man, you did that perfect, man. What a perfect drop.
It's like an olive.
Yeah.
All right.
You can see the black on mine right there is the actual roasted part of the tomatillo.
That's interesting. All right.
It's kind of like eating a raw oyster. It's hard to get on the.
It is a texture of a raw oyster.
It is very good. Now that's a little more heat there.
It's a completely different flavor, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the heat's at the end. Thank you for having water.
Yep. All right, so as we move on, let me get these back out of the way. We've
Woo.
been there, done that.
I like the first one better.
You like the first one better? The first one was more flavorful. The second one packed a lot more heat.
These are neat, though.
Yep.
I've seen something new today.
Roasted tomatillo.
Yep.
Could you
In their own
imagine how
juice.
good that would be on a taco?
Oh, yeah. That's perfect for tacos.
Yep. All right, so we're done with that. Let's
All
move
right.
on. And by the way, you championed through that.
Like I said, people that know me are not going to believe that. Let me tell you.
All right, let's get into the lettuces.
Okay, lettuce. First of all, my favorite thing to grow in containers, bar none. Second of all, going back to what we were talking about earlier, thinking a little bit about what type of container works best for what type of crop. What do you grow your lettuce in?
Oh, no, so this is me. I've come full circle on lettuces. I used to grow them in the ground.
Oh,
I don't grow any lettuces in the ground
I don't
anymore.
either.
And one reason is I keep them so much more cleaner in containers.
Yep.
We have an indoor growing kit. I grow them in
Okay.
those and I also grow them in containers. And
Indoor growing kit is a great
Mom
way
Hoss
to grow
grows them in
lettuce.
the raised beds.
Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite way to grow them is in bulb pans.
Oh.
So, bulb pan is just a pot that's very shallow, but it's a larger surface area, which is perfect for lettuce.
Yeah.
And the reason is most of these lettuces you can cut when they're little, you can cut when they're teenagers, and you can let them grow to
Now this
big
is a
heads.
romaine.
Red Tide. Is that?
We got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was leaf. Well, we're growing it as baby leaf.
Yep.
So growing as baby leaf, it's going to be like this. But growing as a full head,
Yeah.
it's going to be true red.
Okay. Yeah, it's a
Romaine.
true red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Which
true
is
red.
unusual.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good one. I got it growing right now in my greenhouse.
God.
Green tiger.
Green tiger is an oak leaf, which are
Yeah, oak leaf.
beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. And it goes well with the next one we're going to come up with,
Which is?
Red Dragon.
Oh, yeah. So
Yep.
they're perfect
They
together.
paired well together.
Yeah.
If you like an oak leaf, this green tiger, I got it growing as well. I love it. And here we go, the green dragon.
Yep.
Yep.
So beautiful together. And bulb pans are awesome. Hanging baskets are awesome for this.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, indoors is really fun
Yeah.
too.
Yep. All right, so let's
I
move.
can't ever let my lettuces grow to their full heads
We
because
eat
I'm
lots of lettuce.
just cutting it.
You know, I did a TikTok the other day. I'm on TikTok, by the way. I did a TikTok, and I says, if you are going to be growing your own food, if that's your quest to do that, the number one thing you should be growing is your own lettuce.
Lettuce.
You should never buy another head of iceberg lettuce again.
Absolutely. So in those years where I'm traveling so much for work, because I'm at our own vegetable trials all over, there are times where I'm like, why am I planting a garden? I'm not here to harvest anything. Lettuce is still the only thing I will always grow.
Right.
Always.
So
Herbs.
Moving into the herbs.
Okay. So let's talk about herbs. Dill. We're also, I think, going to talk about cilantro. Basil. Okay. So
let's go ahead and group them all.
yeah,
together.
let's group them all for a few reasons. Number one is it's fun to put them all in one container.
Yep.
Right? And mix it up. So it's the same way you would do like flowers. You're putting the biggest, tallest one in the back, right? And then the others in the front. Now, with these three, what I would suggest is sort of staggering, because your dill and your cilantro are cooler season. So right now. And then by the time it gets really warm, they're going to peter out. And the dill will go to seed. It'll pop up those pretty seed heads like Queen Anne's lace. And the cilantro, you're just going to use up and it'll bolt and you're done.
And then the basil.
And then follow up with the basil in the front. Now, the other one that if you wanted to do three all at the same time is you could add parsley in with the cilantro and the dill.
Yep.
And then the cilantro is going to be the one that probably goes first.
Yep.
And you yank it out and you can put the basil in its place.
I love cilantro on top of it.
So you don't have the gene.
I do not.
I do.
You do?
I do.
So it tastes like dishwater, do
Yep.
you? Yeah, I love it. Okay, Savannah mustard. Now, this is one I grew a lot of this year.
Yeah. Did you grow it full size?
I did.
Yeah. And did you cook it?
I did.
Yeah.
It was very good. It's a little mellower than a normal mustard would be.
Yeah, it is. And this is the perfect area for it. Anywhere around here is the perfect area. So it's going to be, I like it a little bit smaller. So I'm cutting it
Sort of like a baby leaf.
like a baby leaf. And that's what I love about this one is number one, super easy in a super small pot. So again, that same, any of these pots would work for this. So with a bulb pan, because again, any of these leafy greens, the more surface area you get, it doesn't really need a whole lot of depth.
And quick. We talking about 20
Super
to 30
quick.
days.
Super quick.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
All top turnip. It's another one I grew this year.
Yep. So in the name, it's a hint, right? All top is for turnip greens.
Right.
Do you like the roots?
I don't
either.
much. I really don't. And that's one reason I grew it. However, it will make a root
It will.
later on in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you cut these early on, it's going to pretty much be all top. But if you do leave them, you will get some root.
Yeah. If you want it,
Yeah.
you can get it.
I'm
but-
like you. I don't care for it either.
Yeah. So again, right now is a perfect time for these, right? And you can double up. You can do them now, let them go till it gets a little too hot, and then do it again later in the fall.
All right. Now this is a good one right here. Here in the South, we love our collards.
I know we do.
Yep. And you know what? The misconception is you can grow collards in a container
Yes.
and have plenty to eat.
And the misconception, I think, just goes back to what was traditional, right? So my whole life, the only way I'd ever even seen a collard was my granddad had it in his traditional giant backyard garden. They got up to his waist. He cut one plant down, and it filled a black garbage bag.
Yep.
Well, that can go in a container. It can stay about this big around, about this tall, and you just keep cutting it, kind of like lettuce.
Yeah, and you cut it a lot smaller than we used to.
Yep.
Not necessarily as a baby, but above a baby.
No, it's and more than a teenager, a young adult. Kale, same thing.
Blue Ridge kale is the superfood.
It is. It is. Have you ever made chips out of it?
I have not.
I have. And this is a really good one to do that with.
Okay.
Because of the texture of the leaf. It's really good. And this, again, this one's ornamental. It's got that neat color tinge to it. But really, when you combine this one with the collards and the Savannah mustard, I mean, each one is like a slight...
You could do a salad bowl.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And they're all slightly different shades of green, which I think is very pretty.
Blue Ridge kale, another good one for containers. All right, so now we're moving into something a little bit different here.
Okay.
We're going to do something a little different that people may not think they can do with containers.
Okay.
But you can do.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have two different ones here. One is yours, which is the jambalaya,
Yep.
which of the traditional okras out there, this one is going to. This one's going to
Delayed reaction.
stings a little on the end, don't it? The jambalaya is going to produce quicker and shorter
Yep.
than any other of the traditional okras, which lends itself to being good for containers.
Absolutely.
And raised beds.
Yeah, if there's any okra, that's going to be the first one you go to if you just want to try it in a container in a raised bed.
Right.
I just did a trial of this down in Florida, and we did that. We put it against a lot of others just to see, like, is that habit truly the tightest, smallest, comes up the earliest, keeps going, and it is. This thing will start out this big. And you've already got pods starting out.
Yep.
So
and
it's
it doesn't
perfect
get,
for me.
at full maturity, it doesn't get near the height. That some of
No,
those
no.
here. Green fingers, which is not yours, but also is a dwarf variety right here that lends itself well for
Yep.
containers as well. We're a big believer in the jambalaya. Now, I tell you this, and we'll touch on jambalaya just a minute because we've had some people in the last year complain
Yep.
about jambalaya, and they said it got too woody on them. And this is what I told
The okra?
The okra. I says, if you do not want to produce okra, do not plant jambalaya. If you want to plant an okra that you have to cut once a week, you want to plant another variety.
Yeah.
Because the jambalaya is so prolific
And fast.
and fast, it will outgrow on you if you're not planning on cutting it every other
That is, you're
day.
absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. And I had that, like I said, that trial I just did, putting it up against the others. If you looked at the data where I had people out there harvesting every other day, and you got to be on it,
Yep.
or all of a sudden I'd look at that
It's gonna
picture,
get
I'm
away
like,
from
that's
you.
gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, most people won't think about this right here. Beets.
Beets. Oh, love beets.
Beets. Yep. You know what? This year I have learned that beet greens are awesome.
Beet greens are awesome.
So this is a dual purpose. You get
Yeah.
the greens and also you get the root out of it.
Yeah. So let's talk about containers, right? So you're probably going to want both. You want the greens and you want the roots, right? So this is a green that would not be as good in a bulb pan because you'd want something a little deeper than that shallow bulb pan. I'll tell you what I like to do beets in
Yeah.
is window boxes
Yeah.
because it's just deep enough where you're not wasting, you don't have a pot this big that it's only going to go, this deep.
Right.
But, and you're going to have, it's just real easy to do a whole big swath of them. And then you can thin it out to where you're going to get the full beets.
Kestrels is great in there. I guess probably
This is my favorite.
the most popular one is Merlin.
Is it? Well,
I would say in our business it probably is.
it's our most popular.
Yeah.
And this is one, even for people who do not like beets, and there's a lot of them, they say they taste like soil, I guess. Sort of like, I think.
It's an earthy flavor.
Earthy, yes. But if we're out in the field,
Yep.
and I've got customers out there, if
Yep.
you ever come out to our trials, I'm gonna make you taste it raw
Yep.
in the field because Merlin. So beets, obviously, are mostly sugar, right, in that root. But we measure the sugar content. It's called bricks, right? A bricks reading that we do out in the field, and a normal beet that's going to be a good tasting. Ooh, that's a sweet beet is about 12% sugar.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
18.
16 to 17.
Wow.
Yep. So it is sweet.
It has that dark
It's dark, yeah.
color to it.
It's
We
beautiful.
know those dark colors are full of antioxidants.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's my favorite by far.
All right. So
what's
let's go
next?
do these two together. You want to?
Okay. Yeah.
Gazilla and Green Magic broccoli, because although they are broccolis, they have two different type slots, I would say.
Slots.
But
Yep.
they do work well in containers.
They do. And again, I think the best container to use for broccolis and cauliflowers, any of those types of things, again, is like maybe a large window box. So I have these window boxes. Well, actually, they're window boxes, but I keep them on the ground because they're probably about 10 inches wide and about 30 inches long. And that way I can plant them like this.
Stagger 'em.
Yep.
So your first slot, as they say, would be Godzilla, would be the first one you would plant coming out of spring or going, no, excuse me. The last one in the fall and the first one in the spring would be Godzilla.
Well, if you plant them at the same time,
Okay, I didn't think about that. Okay.
because then you're going to get
Yep.
Green Magic coming
Right.
off early,
Right.
and then you're going to
did-
finish eating that, and then Godzilla will be
That's
ready.
great. I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Because Green Magic we're at 55 days and Godzilla we're at 70 days.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So just do it all together.
And keep
then,
you a supply of broccoli
Yeah.
going on. Cool. Twister cauliflower for you guys that love, I love cauliflower.
Yeah.
This is a good one here because we don't have to worry about protecting that head.
Yeah, you have that cute, let me see the picture you got. Okay, so I'll have to show you, we have this cool picture. It is like, you see the name, the wrapper is just this giant twist that completely covers that head. So it's 100% protected.
Yep, it has that nice crisp
Oh,
white
yeah.
color to it. All right, now let's move into summer squash.
Okay.
Just a hair there. We got green zebra, and we got,
Come at it.
did you name anyone?
So this one's not ours, although I wanted to
Okay.
talk about this because
Okay.
I love this type.
Okay.
And then the Cometa is ours, and I did not name that.
Okay.
So the reason I wanted to talk about these two is I like zucchini, but it can be kind of bland, and then you get a lot of it. So it's like, what are you going to do with so much of it? So if I'm going to grow it, I want something with a little more oomph. And to me, these types are the ones that have a little more oomph in the flavor. Because I think both of these types are more of a rich flavor.
Complex.
They're more complex. Yeah, there you go. They are. The green zebra type is popular in Europe, typically because it has more flavor. And plus it's pretty. So I like that one. The Cometas, that type is it's a favorite in Mexico, and it's also a favorite in the Middle East. And again, it's more of a rich, it's just a more complex flavor that I think you can do more with. The Cometa, what my favorite thing to do with it is actually stuff them. So I even have this special tool. It was passed down in my husband's family, and
Right.
you core out the center, and then you stuff it with like a rice and beef mixture, and then you just like put them in a pot and steam them.
Wow.
Super good. Yep.
Now, would you recommend that for containers? Or that leans
Then-
more toward raised
I started to
beds.
say now you're moving into raised beds.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, there are a few squash out there that were bred to be super, super tiny plants. But even the bush habit plants on a squash are big. So you're better to just go to the raised bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, now we're moving into more slicer tomatoes. Well, we're going to move into slicers, but first we're going to cover Mr. Shelby here. Now, this, in my opinion, should be strictly raised beds in
Absolutely,
ground.
yeah.
So this is not work for containers. I don't think, I get your opinion on that. I think this is more for raised beds in ground.
Yes, unless you're one of those people that has one of them gigantic containers.
Okay.
Like we do have some containers that some people like to do whiskey barrels.
Right.
Any of these would be good for that type of
Yep.
container. Otherwise, stick to the raised beds.
Shelby is a determinate type
Roma.
Roma.
Yeah.
For you guys that want to make your salsa out, this is it right here.
So this one I love. This is probably my favorite Roma tomato that we have. Old time, the San Marzano. This is a San Marzano type. It's like the big, almost lumpy, right? Elongated, giant fruit, super good flavor, just the right texture to cook with.
With disease resistance.
With disease resistance.
I have a lot of these ready to put in the ground this week.
This is my favorite, so I'm just excited
Now,
to see what you think.
Compare that next to Taki.
The Tachi tomato.
Tachi.
Okay, so it's a much smaller. So it's more like the kind you would slice and put on a salad.
Okay, so it wouldn't be considered a salsa type?
Yeah, you can make fresh salsa with it. The Shelby, I mean, you can do that with Shelby too. I really like cooking with Shelby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now we're moving into slicers. When we talk about slicers, we're talking about the kind you want to slice it, put on that cheeseburger, that big variety right there.
Yep.
And we got a lot of these. This is probably what we're known for.
Oh, yeah.
Slicer tomatoes is our seed line that we do a lot of work with that kind of stuff and have for years.
So there's tons of choices here, right? And so, like, it's really hard to say, well, this is the best one because they have so many different types, so many different things that you're trying to do that it's always good to just plant, half a dozen.
Right. Now, what we're going to give you today is some varieties that we think would work well in raised beds.
Yeah.
And that being said, we're going to stick to determinate type varieties because the indeterminates, as wonderful as they are, can get away from us.
They can get away from you.
Okay.
You really have to have the equipment. So even in raised beds and even with determinants, I still like to use a cage because it just really keeps it, under control. So Roadster, out of the ones coming out of our latest breeding, Roadster is one of my favorites. I think it's just got a nice overall good combination of traits. It's super early. I think like 60, 65 days after you transplant it. It's got amazing color. So, you know, a lot of times the color is gorgeous on the outside, and when you slice it, it's got that whitish look, like a McDonald's hamburger tomato. So that's not this. This is gorgeous, gorgeous tomato sandwich kind of tomato. And this came out of our flavor breeding project. So
Cool.
super, super high
Wonderful
flavor.
that the breeders have put flavor back
I know,
in
right?
Yeah. Now, I think this tomato here, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a good fall tomato.
Yeah, so this will go way into the late season. I mean, it'll keep producing. It also has really good disease resistant, especially tomato spotted wilts,
Right.
which is important
Yep.
on the East
All
Coast.
right, I want to save my favorite one for last.
I know
and
your
we're gonna-
favorite.
We're going to go with this one right here.
Bella
Rosa.
Rosa. This is a really popular one for you guys.
This is very popular, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason why. I always tell people, if you're having trouble germinating tomatoes or growing tomatoes, or
Okay.
you're a first-time grower, you want to go with the Bella Rosa because those seeds are primed, and they will out-germinate any other seed that we have, hands down.
Well, I also wonder too, another reason it's so successful is it's a really, really good heat set tomato.
It is a good heat set, and it's a good flavor tomato.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell the story. I did a trial probably 12 years ago, an extensive trial here. And at the time, I put the Bella Rosa up against several different varieties. Back then we had Brickyard. Several different varieties out there. And of all the ones that we tried, Bella Rosa stood out dramatically above any of the rest of them. So therefore, it's been my favorite variety up till now.
Yeah.
And it
There's
still
some
is.
strong competition coming though.
And it still is. However, we do have...
This might be your new favorite.
We have the Hosstools 2250, and I have a lot of these planted. But this is supposed to be the new cat's meow.
Yeah. So this also came out of our flavor breeding project. So again, total concentration on, I mean, to the point where like we go to the store and you know, now at the store, they have all these high priced, fancy, different colors, different shaped tomatoes that are really good tasting.
Right.
But they're going to be in the fancy packaging that are
Right.
3 times more expensive. So we went and like did all kinds of taste testing and flavor profiles to really understand like what do all the best tomatoes taste like and what do we need to pull out of that to create a really good tasting tomato that performs to the standards that anybody can grow it.
Right.
So again, disease package was important. This plant habit is really, really tight too.
It's really tight, and that helps with people, the less experienced growers. It helps because they don't get as much sun scald.
Yeah.
If they're struggling to get enough vine there, which a lot of home gardeners do,
Yeah, that's true.
this one is going to be particularly well for you because it has that dense foliage that's going to help with sun scald. And it's a big tomato. So
It
everybody
is.
loves
It's
a
big.
big tomato.
It's over 10 ounces.
Yep.
Easy. Yeah.
Man, that was a great lineup right there. So if anybody's had any questions about what they should grow in containers, they need to rewatch this show.
Yes.
All right, so you may not know this, Tracy, but within the set here, there's an old goat.
A who?
An old goat. And it's not me. It's not me. I know what you're thinking. But there's an old goat within the set here, and he moves around every week. He moves around, and he appears at different places.
Oh.
So,
Right there?
well, we was going to let everybody guess.
I'm sorry.
But that's what we do every week. And last week it's okay, it's all right. But last week we let people send in their answers, and we draw and send them a gift.
Shoot. So do I get the
Okay,
gift?
You get the gift.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let
I
you
can
draw. This is for last week, right here.
Okay.
The people that guessed where the old goat was.
Okay. Mark B.
Mark B. Send us in. Let me put it up here. Mark B. Send us in your address, and we will send you a nice gift from hosstools. How about that?
And I'm sorry for those
It's
for next
all
week.
right. It's all right. So we got a couple of things coming up. Petals in the Past Antiques that we're going to be
that
going
sounds
to.
interesting. I
Oh
was
man, it's
talking to
going to
Rick
be
about that.
wonderful. We're going over to Alabama for this meet and greet. There's going to be some great YouTubers there.
Nice.
This friends of ours. Saturday, April 23rd, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's
Where
gonna
in Alabama?
be somewhere in Alabama.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm gonna look that up. I've never heard
exactly
of it.
where it was at. It's somewhere around southern central Alabama
Okay.
over there. I wasn't in charge of the travel arrangements on that one. The next one we have is Okie Homestead Expo that we're a major sponsor of, and it is at the Mayors County Fairgrounds in Pryor, Oklahoma.
Pryor, Oklahoma.
Never been to Oklahoma. And it
I
is
haven't either.
March the 19th, and it's for 3 days. We're not going to be there, but we're going to have peoples there.
That sounds good.
So we're a major sponsor of that. And you know what? We always do a corny joke of the week. And I got one for you.
See, I was so excited. I usually don't get the joke. So when you said the old goat, I was so excited because I could solve that one.
So this is a good one. This is one of the better ones for me because, I mean, we've had some good corny jokes, but sometimes they're just a little too corny. But it's, why did the baby strawberry cry?
Oh, see? I don't know.
His parents were in a jam.
Oh.
Good one.
That was a good one.
Yep. In case you've seen this over here, I was showing Tracy before the show. Roselle hibiscus right there, folks.
Yes.
We got them ready to transplant. We're probably going to get them out in the next couple of weeks.
So this was beautiful in your garden. Gorgeous big plant.
Yep.
And last time I was here, I took home is the blossoms dried.
Well,
and
they call it the calyx.
the calyx was dried. And good tea.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Jam, jellies,
so neat.
wine. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorite. Another thing as far as gifts, we always do this right here. I like to grow a few extra ones of these, and I like to give these away as gifts as well.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, because I doubt many people know about them.
They don't.
I learned about
They're
them from
easy
you.
to grow. They're easy to grow.
Yeah.
They're in the Tomato family.
Yeah.
Yep. So there we have it, folks. Great show. We thank Tracy so much for being here. It's
to be here again.
always learn something.
Me too.
Always learn something. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. Now it's time for you to get outside and get dirty.